Okay, so welcome to another deep dive. And today we are going
Surely.
into something a little different. And it's a book, and it's called Little Lucifer, The Fallen Star.
That's a catchy title.
Yeah, it is pretty catchy. And I think the dedication kind of gives you an idea of where this is headed.
I was just going to say the dedication is absolutely hilarious.
It is like it's talking about, the ups and downs of
tiny
parental.
demonic microphones.
Yeah, tiny demonic microphones. And then like a nanny who knows exorcisms, it's just...
I mean, it sets the tone right away.
Yeah.
You're not in for a typical parenting guide.
Not a typical... No, this is not what to expect when you're expecting kind of book.
Definitely not.
So, the setup for this is pretty brilliant.
It is, yeah.
We have God is just overworked.
Yeah.
He's dealing with all this heavenly red tape.
Too much paperwork?
Too much paperwork. There's apparently this huge threat of miniature pony reality TV, which is something I don't even want to contemplate.
I don't even know what that would look like, but it sounds terrifying.
I don't either, but I'm sure it's awful.
Yeah.
So in a moment of divine frustration and probably too many celestial donuts.
Fueled by sugar.
Yeah, fueled by sugar. He impulsively decides to send Lucifer back to Earth.
As a baby.
As a babby.
As you do.
Named Mitchell.
This is parenting done right.
Aye. So this is Project Lucifer Contingency Plan B.
Contingency Plan B.
Which means there was an A,
Yeah.
and there might be a C, D, and E.
Somewhere down the line.
We don't know.
We don't know yet.
And it seems like the paperwork was a little rushed on this because there is mention of a golf game with Michael happening at the same time, so...
Clearly priorities.
Clearly priorities, yeah. So then we meet our adoptive parents.
Yes.
Vladimir and Inna.
I love them.
Vladimir is this burly mechanic.
Half-cocked.
Yeah, a big guy. And Inna owns a salon.
Very stylish.
Very stylish. And they find this baby on their suburban lawn.
Can you imagine?
I know.
I mean, talk about a surprise.
What a way to, shake up your Tuesday afternoon.
Right. Honey, what's that on the lawn? Oh, it's the Antichrist.
So in this deep dive, we want to really focus on how this story unfolds based on the choices that you get to make as the reader.
Right.
And the funny consequences of those.
Yeah, like what happens when you choose A versus B?
Mm-hmm.
Does the world explode? You get a cookie. Like, what's the deal?
Exactly. And just the overall, feel...
The vibe.
The vibe of the whole thing.
Is it funny? Is it scary? Is it a little bit of both?
Yeah. So by the end, hopefully you'll know if this is something you want to pick up and read for yourself.
Absolutely. Give you a good sense of whether this is your kind of journey.
So let's jump into it. What were some of the first
so early on...
hints that Mitchell wasn't just...
what were the red flags? Were there...
A regular baby.
Little horns poking out.
Mm-hmm.
A tail. I mean, what are we talking about here?
There weren't horns or a tail, thank goodness.
So subtle.
But it's subtle, right? There were toys moving, seemingly on their own.
All right, so that's a little creepy.
And just random objects appearing places they shouldn't be.
Okay.
And then this baby whale that had this just eerie, infernal echo to it.
A little bit demonic.
Yeah, it's like the book is dropping these little...
I like that.
Breadcrumbs of bizarre right from the get-go.
Okay, so right away you know something's up.
Right. But it's subtle enough that you can kind of explain it away.
Yeah.
As a new parent.
Like sleep deprivation.
Right, exactly.
Oh, I must have just moved that. I'm so tired.
Exactly. Or is there something more to it?
That's a great hook.
And then we have Vladimir, who starts to see a little bit of himself.
Oh, interesting.
In Mitchell. Vladimir had always wanted to be a musician, but he kind of gave up on that dream and went the, practical route.
Right. Responsible.
Right. Got a trade, got a job.
Yeah.
Got married, all that.
The American dream.
Right. And he's noticing these things about Mitchell that are kind of...
Like a budding musician?
Yeah, like he's arranging things musically.
Okay.
He's got a sense of rhythm. And so he's kind of projecting maybe...
A little bit
of his own unfulfilled dreams onto Mitchell.
Makes sense.
Then you have Inna, who is a very practical woman.
Yes.
She's trying to explain everything away as normal baby behavior.
Just a quirky kid, right. All babies are weird.
But she has this really weird thing that happens.
Okay, what is it?
Where she feels compelled to rearrange her whole salon.
Okay.
Based on Mitchell's gurgling.
What?
Yeah.
How does she even...
So she is consulting baby talk dictionaries.
Oh, no.
And a Ouija board.
The Ouija board. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like baby sign language with a demonic twist.
Right. And so she's like, okay, well, Mitchell wants the hair dryers moved over here.
Yeah.
And he wants,
According to the Ouija board.
Right.
I mean, you can't argue with that.
No, you can't. And this is like one of those things where it's like the comedy really shines because it takes something that's so normal.
Yes.
Like every parent wants to understand their baby.
Absolutely.
And it just takes it to this completely absurd level.
Yeah, it's like relatable, but with a supernatural spin.
Right.
Which is, I think, a lot of the humor in this book.
And it's not just Inna seeing things.
Okay.
Vladimir, he's trying to put Mitchell to sleep, singing him a lullaby, which happens to be a really off-key heavy metal anthem.
Of course.
Yeah.
Only the best for baby Lucifer.
Right. And he sees this, like, flash, the shimmer.
In Mitchell's eyes.
In Mitchell's eyes.
Yeah, okay. That's a little creepy.
And it's enough to kind of plant this seed of doubt. Like, is everything okay?
Maybe this baby's a little more than just colicky.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got these early signs, and then Mitchell gets a little bit older.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Yeah, so Mitchell gets a little bit older, and those little hints, those breadcrumbs of bizarre start to really ramp up.
Okay, so things get weirder.
They get weirder.
Okay.
So,
like how much weirder?
Well, one of the things is Vladimir is a mechanic.
Right.
And he finds Mitchell in his garage.
Yeah.
And Mitchell has taken all these car parts and arranged them in this very specific, very precise...
Wait, like an art project?
It's almost like an art project, but he's also like tapping out rhythms on them.
So he's making music with car parts?
He's making music with car parts.
Yeah. That's kind of cool, actually.
It is kind of cool, but it's also a little creepy because he's like 3.
Okay, yeah. That is a little young to be a gearhead composer.
Right. So, and this is also kind of where that musical talent starts to really come out.
Makes sense.
And it's tied to this.
So he's not just playing with the parts. He's got like a natural sense of rhythm and melody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
he's just hanging out in the garage, making music with wrenches and stuff. Does this lead to anything?
Well, Vladimir decides to set up a little performance for Mitchell at the local market.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Stage dad already.
He borrows a grand piano and sets it up in the middle of the market.
This is a recipe for disaster.
It kind of is. But then Mitchell starts playing.
Okay.
And this hush falls over the entire market.
Really?
Everybody stops and just listens.
So he's good.
He's really good.
Okay.
And it's not just like a kid plunking on the keys.
Yep.
It's this like torrent of emotion coming out of this kid. Oh. And his fingers are moving with this speed and grace that is unnatural.
Unnatural. Okay, so we're back to the creepy.
And the music itself is intense and primal and hauntingly sad.
It's a lot for a little kid.
It's a lot for a little kid.
Okay, so clearly there's something more going on here.
Right.
It's not just like prodigy-level talent.
Exactly. And Vladimir is just blinded by this, genius.
Of course. Stage dad's got a stage dad.
He's loving the attention, the positive press. The money's starting to roll in.
It's all about the money.
And he's completely missing all the other increasingly strange things that are happening.
What kind of things are we talking about?
Things are moving on their own.
Okay, stuff.
Things are disappearing and reappearing.
Right.
There are whispers coming from empty rooms.
That's okay. That's creepy.
There are eerie shadows.
That's not good.
The temperature is dropping randomly.
Okay, getting worse.
Vladimir even wakes up with these strange markings on his body.
Oh, no.
Like their house is turning into a haunted house.
Yeah, that's a little more than just prodigy problems.
And of course, this is all putting a huge strain on Vladimir and Inna's relationship.
Yeah. You've got one parent who's like, this is amazing, and the other one who's like, our house is haunted.
Right. Inna is getting increasingly frightened.
Yeah.
Vladimir is still in denial.
It sounds like a classic horror movie setup.
It kind of is.
So what's the breaking point? When does everything really go off the rails?
Well, they have this recording studio incident.
Okay.
They're trying to record Mitchell.
Yeah.
And he's playing. He's really getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, he lets out this guttural scream.
Okay.
And the entire studio starts shaking.
Oh, no.
Instruments are vibrating.
Like an earthquake.
Piano keys are shattering.
This kid's got some pipes.
Lights are flickering.
Okay.
And then the lights come back on, and Mitchell is just standing there.
Uh-huh.
And he's got these glowing eyes.
Oh, no.
And this just terrifying, demonic grin on his face.
So full-on demon mode activated.
Yeah. It is like full demon kid.
Yikes.
And that is when it shifts from fame and fortune to we need to survive this.
Right. Survival mode. So the gloves are off now.
The gloves are off.
So how do Vladimir and Inna deal with this slight demonic hiccup?
Well, for Vladimir, it's like a slap in the face. It's like, okay, I can't deny this anymore.
Reality check.
He's freaking out.
Yeah.
He's desperately searching for answers.
Okay.
And the biggest thing is he finally starts to really listen to Inna.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you were right.
So they're on the same page now.
They're starting to be on the same page.
At least about the demon baby.
Yeah, about the demon baby.
So what's their next move?
So their nights become these just worry-filled conversations about the night terrors that Mitchell's having.
Okay.
The creepy whispers they're hearing.
The whispers are still happening.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And these symbols that keep appearing.
Symbols like demonic symbols?
Yeah, like they're not sure if they're, ancient runes or something.
Oh, that's not good.
And it turns out that Inna has been doing some research on all of this.
Okay, like researching the symbols and the whispers?
Yeah, she's looking into ancient rituals, demonic entities, and she's finding all these alarming parallels.
Like what?
Between Mitchell's music
Yeah.
and certain incantations.
Oh, that's not good. So his music is like demonic summoning music.
It's like he's channeling something.
Not the kind of tunes you want to hear on the radio.
No.
So what do they do with this information?
Well, their approaches to dealing with this are completely different.
Oh, of course.
Inna wants to be proactive.
Yeah.
She wants to call in religious figures.
Okay.
Maybe try an exorcism.
That makes sense.
And definitely limit Mitchell's public appearances.
Probably a good idea. Keep the demon baby out of the spotlight.
Vladimir, on the other hand, is still worried about the scandal, about ruining Mitchell's career.
So he's still clinging to the prodigy thing.
He is. He wants to find, discreet specialists.
Okay.
People who can work in secret.
Under the radar.
And this is one of those points where, as the reader, you get to make a choice.
Oh, interesting. So you get to decide how they handle it.
Yeah, do you go with Inna's more proactive approach?
Yeah.
Or do you go with Vladimir's more cautious approach?
And I bet each choice leads to a whole different set of consequences.
Exactly. And that's kind of what drives the story forward.
That's cool. So it's like a choose-your-own-adventure with a demon baby.
It is.
I love it.
But one thing that's really interesting is that even though they're disagreeing on how to handle this, they both still love Mitchell so much.
Wow.
It's this...
So they're united in their love for their demon child.
They are, and it's this real driving force throughout the whole book.
That's sweet.
And then they see this news report of a recent concert.
Mitchell's concert.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're watching him play.
Yeah.
And he's amazing.
Of course.
But there's a subtle shift in his expression.
Okay. Like what?
Like this flash of malevolent glee and this demonic energy just kind of radiating off of him.
Not so subtle anymore.
Not so subtle anymore. And that's when Inna has this
Okay.
heartbreaking realization that he's not just playing the music.
Oh.
He's becoming the music.
Ooh, that's deep and ominous.
It is. And that's when it becomes about more than just Mitchell.
Yeah.
It's about them.
The world.
It's about the world.
So the stakes just got a lot higher.
Way higher. So things really escalate at home.
Oh, how?
We're talking just nonstop bizarre events.
Like what? Give me some examples.
I don't want to give too much away.
Okay, fair enough.
But there's a particularly unsettling incident involving their housekeeper, Elena.
Ooh. That doesn't sound good.
It's not.
Yeah.
And it really forces them to face the reality of what they're dealing with.
Right. They can't ignore it anymore.
They can't. And then there's this one interaction with Mitchell that is just bone-chilling.
Okay, what happens?
He's laughing this just creepy, guttural laugh.
Still got those pipes.
Yeah, and he's talking about how much he enjoys
the
fear that he sees in people.
So he's aware of what he's doing.
He is.
And he likes it.
Yeah.
This kid's going places? Not good places, but places.
And he even starts talking about this greater purpose.
Oh, boy. That can't be good.
It's not. So Vladimir's begging him to stop.
Yeah.
And is trying all these counter spells.
Right.
And it all just culminates in this terrifying explosion of energy. Things are flying around the room.
Oh, no.
The temperature plummets.
Like freezing cold.
Freezing cold. Mitchell's laughing maniacally.
Oh,
it's just pure chaos.
So their living room is basically a war zone.
Yeah. And it's at that point that they realize they need help.
Like the backup.
They need backup. They start calling everyone they can think of.
Like who?
Religious leaders.
Okay.
Occult specialists.
Yeah.
Scientists.
Scientists.
Yeah.
Really?
They're desperate.
I mean, desperate times, right?
And the reactions are all over the place.
I bet.
Some people just dismiss them outright.
I bet.
Yeah.
Some people just dismiss them outright.
You're crazy. Demon baby. Whatever. Others have these, like, really tentative, almost comical suggestions.
Like what? What do you suggest for a demon baby?
Like, nobody knows what to do.
That's scary.
It is. And then they are faced with this huge choice.
Okay, what is it?
Do they embrace the darkness, or do they fight it?
That's a big one.
And the book does a really good job of showing how tempting it would be to embrace the darkness.
Because
they're offered power.
Okay.
They're offered the ability to shape the world.
Right.
They even start justifying it as, like, the lesser of two evils.
If we don't do it, someone worse will.
Right. And then they start thinking about all the perks.
The perks of being evil.
Financial stability, political influence. It's like...
It's a slippery slope.
It's a very slippery slope.
And I bet the book lets you explore that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what happens if you choose to go full evil?
Yeah, and it's a really interesting path.
Well, it's not just about stopping the demon baby. It's about wrestling with the temptation yourself.
And then we get these whispers from the abyss.
Ooh, that sounds ominous. What are those?
They start really subtle,
Okay.
like just weird dreams, little snippets of conversation that they overhear,
Okay.
strange coincidences.
Creepy.
But then they become more intense,
Okay.
more blatant.
Like what?
Inna starts having these vivid, terrifying premonitions.
Oh, no.
And Vladimir finds this old journal
Okay.
that is basically their exact situation, culminating in this chilling prophecy.
What does it say?
The song of the abyss will rise, the choice will be made, and the world shall tremble.
That's not good.
It's not.
So it's like fate is pushing them towards a decision.
Yeah, it's like they're being manipulated.
By the abyss.
By the abyss.
So how does this affect Vladimir and Inna?
It really starts to break down their relationship even more.
Because
Vladimir's trying to be rational.
Yeah.
He's looking for the scientific explanations.
Yeah.
Inna is just going with her gut.
Her intuition.
Yeah.
Which, considering she's dealing with a demon baby, might not be a bad idea.
And they can't agree on how to handle anything.
On the best way to fight the abyss.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right.
I mean, it's a high-pressure situation.
They're exhausted. They're scared.
They're arguing.
They're arguing constantly.
So basically, a normal Tuesday for parents, just with a little more demonic activity.
And then in the middle of all of this,
Yeah.
God shows up.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he just appears in their living room.
So God just drops in for a visit. Casual.
Blinding light, slightly rumpled suit.
Yep.
And this look of just weary amusement on his face.
Like, oh, you guys again.
And his reaction to the whole 3-year-old pop sensation Lucifer thing is just
I bet.
priceless.
What does he say?
It's like he's realizing that his whole rehabilitation through pop music plan maybe wasn't the best idea.
Oops.
Yeah.
So even God makes mistakes.
Even God makes mistakes.
That's reassuring, actually.
Yeah, and then he makes this comment about Vladimir's attempts to explain everything scientifically as adorable.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's like he's just humoring him at this point.
Like, bless your heart, you're trying.
Exactly.
So what does God do? Does he fix everything?
He's reluctant to directly intervene.
Why not?
He says there's potential for even more chaos.
Yeah, I can see that. God kidnaps pop star headlines, the whole 9 yards.
And there are a lot of powerful forces at play.
Oh, right. Heaven, hell, all that jazz.
So he gives them 3 options.
Okay, what are they?
Let Mitchell continue on his path, try to subtly guide him, or go for direct confrontation.
Those are some pretty heavy options.
They are, and as the reader, you get to choose.
Wow, so you really get to shape the story.
Yeah, it's a big decision point.
What do Vladimir and Inna think about these options?
Vladimir's leaning towards subtle guidance.
Yeah.
He wants to take the cautious approach.
Play it safe.
Inna, on the other hand, wants to confront the problem head on.
Direct confrontation. Go big or go home.
And of course, this is another point where the reader can choose which path they want to follow.
So the story really branches out depending on what you choose.
And God gives them a little something to help them with this direct confrontation.
What is it? A holy hand grenade?
It's not quite a holy hand grenade.
Okay.
It's a small, intricately carved wooden box.
Okay, mysterious.
He calls it the divine toolbox.
The divine toolbox. I like it.
Yeah, and he specifically says it's not for leaky faucets.
So what's in it?
He doesn't say explicitly.
Come on.
But he does say that it contains things like
okay,
patience.
Empathy. All right.
Unwavering love.
Unwavering love, yeah.
And divine stubbornness.
Divine stubbornness, that's a good one.
And it's this really interesting idea that these very human virtues can be used against something so powerful.
So it's like a battle of wills, but with really good parenting skills.
And he warns them that it's going to be like wrestling a rabid musical lion.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Not for them, maybe.
No.
But for us, reading about it, probably hilarious.
So this whole conflict escalates into this huge battle between heaven and hell happening in their living room. Yeah. And they're right in the middle of it.
So it's like a cosmic showdown in suburbia.
It is. And the choices that the reader makes directly influence how this battle plays out.
That's awesome. So it's like you're part of this cosmic tug of war.
Yeah. And ultimately, it comes down to their love for Mitchell. Yes. Their faith.
Okay.
And whatever they can find in that divine toolbox.
Right. Those superpowered parenting tools.
To try to save him and maybe the world.
So high stakes, but also hilarious, it sounds like.
It is. And I think that's what makes this book so unique.
So to sum it all up, we've got this ordinary couple dealing with the most extraordinary situation imaginable.